I think the challenge these days is more culture than it is technology. The technologies are abundant. They're flowing. There's so many different things available. The thing that sets one school apart from the other is their willingness to accept, embrace technologies, to work on those technologies as a team, to be willing to utilize measurement as a means to try to extract value out of a given trial, and then to take action, to learn from what the data tells you how to improve. Now, that sounds so basic, to work as a team, to keep score, and then to make decisions. But it's so different from the way that most institutions embrace technology. Now, a second thing, I suppose, is I think it's important not to try to do things yourself. I think that educational institutions come from a tradition of running their own systems, buying their own technology, writing and deploying their own mechanisms. I think those days are past. That cottage industry phase is sort of over now. And so I think it's really important to begin to embrace things that are coming out of the cloud, things that are more generally available, to try not to achieve an incremental advantage, but to become consumers of mass technology. And I think if you made those two kinds of changes culturally, then an institution has a really good opportunity to become a leader. When you think about an educational institution and their balance of technologies that they run themselves, I mean, because educational technology in general maybe emerged out of universities and then spilled into secondary schools, I think there's a natural cottage industry tendency. And so, you think about emails, even the supporting systems, email systems, accounting systems, systems to keep track of where the students are, and then the educational systems themselves, the learning management systems, even the creation of curriculum. All of those at one time could only be done by the institution itself. And every one of those today can be done outside. The struggle for some schools to embrace Google Mail or Microsoft Live as opposed to running their own brittle servers. I mean, these things are difficult to give up culturally, but it's like letting go of Marley's chains. When you let go of those technologies, it allows you then to focus on their application, what they're for, as opposed to simply trying to keep them running. And so I think this is a big challenge for IT and for IT directors at big school systems, at large universities. They've traditionally provided those basic services, and getting away from the provisioning of basic services toward the application of those things to the fundamental business of the school, the teaching and learning. This is, I think, a big transition. In thinking about how a cultural shift can be made, an example comes to mind that at Arizona State University, where I was the university technology officer, about 5 years ago, we adopted this strategy. It's a complicated thing to get information technologists to realize that the value of their careers rises as they start to move away from the direct provisioning of services toward the value-added use of those services in support of the primary mission. I think that the institution itself is thankful of the change. I think people are frustrated with do-it-yourself IT. I think they're frustrated with systems that go up and down and are complicated to use and that they need to be trained on. No one's mad about YouTube. Everybody kind of gets YouTube and they understand Amazon and they know how these other systems work, and many of these systems provided from the cloud have those kinds of usability things. So in a lot of ways, if the technology providers are willing to let go a little bit, they have to get around the idea that they provide the most security. They have to get around the idea that they provide the most privacy. Both of those things, I think, are myths, but I think they're very closely held myths. The idea is that you can take care of your data kind of better than a large system might be able to take care of it. But in a way, it's the virtue of banks over mattresses. I imagine when banks first came out, people were, I'm going to keep my money in my mattress because if I put it down at the bank, it'll be with all the other money that everybody wants to steal. Well, as it turns out, even with our recent banking troubles notwithstanding, you're a lot safer being able to pool your money, pool your resources with people who really know what they're doing. And when you think about some of these cloud providers, there's literally billions of dollars at stake. They are in a much better position to defend security and privacy than a small group of individuals.